Hi, I'm Estelle. Thank you so much for joining me today on your mat. Today's class is for creaky bodies. So, for anyone who is getting older or has been watching too many Netflix shows in a row or has been doing other exercise and you're feeling a little sore and creaky after that, anyone who just wants to bring a little bit of movement into your body in a gentle but effective way, this class is for you. So we'll get started in a seat. You can put a block under your seat or you can come into an easy pose, legs crossed, either leg in front, whatever you find most comfortable. You can sit on a blanket, a block, a bolster. Just bring your hands to your knees and we'll take one deep cleansing breath to start our practice today. So empty out all your breath and then starting with the bottom of your belly, inhale through your nose, coming up to your ribs, lifting your chest, all the way to your collarbone. Pause at the top for a moment. And exhale through your mouth. Close your eyes and let's just take a few minutes. Bring your awareness to your breath. Try to make the inhales and the exhales the same length. And bring awareness to your body, how it's feeling today. Which areas are feeling creaky? Which areas need a little love? Think about what kinds of movements would feel good to you today, where you need to bring a little bit of space into your body. Let's just take 2 more breaths here. And on your next inhale, let your eyes flutter open. Your inhale, lift your arms up, reach your spine tall. And exhale, putting your right hand on the floor. And reaching your left hand towards the side wall. You can bring your right elbow down to the ground if that feels good. But just keep your spine long. Gaze towards the ceiling, towards the front, or down toward the ground. Not trying to get over to a specific place, but just feeling a stretch in your side body. Let's inhale back to center. And exhale to the left. Left fingers coming to the ground, right fingers reaching over, keeping both your sitting bones grounding into the floor. Feeling a nice stretch, your spine all in one line, all in one plane. Gaze up towards the sky, out in front of you or down to the ground. And inhale up to center. And we'll take a twist, so exhale to the right, bringing your left hand to your right knee, the right hand out behind you to keep your spine nice and long, sitting bones grounding into the floor. A straight line of energy from your sit bones to the crown of your head. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the left fingers coming out behind you, right hand to your left knee. Make sure that that double helix of your spine, that spiral staircase, keeps twisting all the way right up through your neck. Doug is joining us for this class today. And inhale back to center. Bring your hands down. Come over to your hands and knees for a little bit of cat-cow. Bring your wrists right under your shoulders, your knees right under your hips. And on an inhale, lift the crown of the head, lift the sit bones up to the sky. And on an exhale, tuck your chin, round your back. Squeeze your abdominals. And we'll take 2 more rounds of this. Inhaling long, feeling your stomach muscles stretch. And exhaling, feeling the back of your heart lift up towards the sky, tucking your tail and your chin. And last time, inhaling into cow. And exhaling into cat. Bring your right foot out to the side, your right heel in line with your left knee. Use your hands to press up so you're standing on your left knee. Inhale your arms up. And on an exhale, slide the right hand down the right leg, finding a nice long stretch in the left side body, coming into gate pose. Again, you can look up to the sky. You look straight ahead. You can look down to the ground, finding a nice stretch in your left side body, feeling it all the way from the left knee through the left hip, through the left ribs, the left shoulder. And inhale up to center. You can take that gate pose again, or if you want to go a little further, you can tuck the left toes under, sweep the left hand forward, reach back for the left heel with the right hand, and reach the left arm up, 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 and then back, coming into Queen's Gate. This should be lifting through the front of your chest and your upper back, not crunching in your lower back. So you want to stay lifted. And on the inhale, come back up, sweep that arm back to your side. And we'll take that on the other side. So bring the weight onto your right knee, bring your left foot out to the side, your left knee in line with your left ankle in line with your right knee. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, slide the left hand down the left leg. Reach through the right fingers, the right side body. Not coming to anywhere in particular, but just coming to where you find a comfortable edge of a stretch. All the way around your obliques, feel the fascia stretching out there, opening up the side body. And on your next inhale, lift up and come back to center. You can come back into tabletop and then rock back on your knees. Coming into ball of yarn, lift your heels up, tuck your head, give yourself a little hug, and then slowly straighten your legs, but not all the way, coming into ragdoll. So let your chest and your belly rest on your knees. You can take opposite hand to opposite elbow. You can shift from side to side, straighten one leg and then the other. Give yourself a little gentle bob, whatever feels good. Let your head hang really easy. You can swivel it from side to side, nod it up and down. Just make sure there's no tension in it. And exhale here. And on the inhale, slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra. Taking your time so you don't get dizzy. The last thing to come up is your head. Step forward to the front of your mat and we'll come into Tadasana. So Tadasana might look like a very basic pose, but actually it's really full of energy. Have your feet right under your hips distance apart, your arms alongside your bodies, your hands reaching down, your legs are engaged, your quads are engaged, your hands are engaged, your triceps are engaged, your core is engaged, everything is engaged in Tadasana, mountain pose. When you have all of this energy grounding into the earth, you can really feel why it's called mountain pose. You feel really stable and really strong. On an inhale, lift up. And then exhale, cactus the arms, nice and wide. Inhale back to center, and we'll take side moon to the right, sliding the right hand down the right leg, just like we did in gate pose. Finding a nice stretch here, one breath. Feel the stretch from the left ankle all the way up through to the left fingers. And inhale back to center using your core. And we'll exhale, side moon to the left. Left hand sliding down the left leg. Feeling the stretch to the side of the body, making sure your shoulders, your hips are all in one plane. Feeling the stretch from fingertips all the way to the heels. And on the next inhale, come up. We'll take one more inhale up into Tadasana. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale up into Tadasana. And fold forward, coming into Uttanasana. Forward fold. So you can have your legs a little bit bent here if you need them. This is our first hamstring stretch of the day. You can wiggle them out a little bit. They don't have to be all the way straight. Just moving towards straight. Make sure your head is nice and loose. On an inhale, flatten your back, come up into monkey. You can bring the hands to the thighs, to the shins, to a block on the floor, or to the floor itself if you can reach there. Wherever your hands need to be for your spine to be long, that's where they should be. So don't worry about reaching any particular spot. Just try to find length and extension in that spine. Inhale here, and exhale coming into Uttanasana, standing forward fold again. Bring your toes to touch, your big toes to touch, a little bit of space between your heels. On your next inhale, sink your hips back, bend your knees, let your hands float up and come into chair. So if you look down, you should be able to see your toes right underneath your knees, but peeking out past them a little bit. Should have the weight in your heels. You should be able to lift up your toes. Tuck the low ribs in, knit them down. So don't tuck your tailbone. Keep the natural curve of your spine. Make sure you're supporting your lower back with your core muscles by knitting those ribs down. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, twist to the right, tuck their left elbow onto the right knee. Inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, moving into the left twist, right elbow to the left knee. And exhale, come back to center. And on an inhale, rise up, back to Tadasana, and bring your hands to heart center. From here, step back into a high lunge, crescent lunge. Left foot back, right foot forward. Raise your arms up. Make sure that right foot is right under the right knee. Right knee is aiming for a 90-degree angle. Make sure your hips are pointing straight ahead. Shoulders are broad. Scapula are rolling down the back. Inhale here. And exhale, open into warrior two. So that left foot should be at a 45-degree angle, pointing to the top left corner of the mat. Again, the right knee right over the right ankle. If it's tipping in a little bit, you can try broadening your stance. You can shift your hips a little bit more towards the front. Wherever your hips need to be for that knee to be right over the ankle is the right spot for you. Exhale here. Inhale, bring both feet out to the side, coming into star. And exhale into prayer squat. Feel both knees reaching out to the side. Exhale. Inhale up to star. Turn both feet straight forward, hinge at the hips, and come down into a wide-legged standing forward fold. Let your head go. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your left arm to the center. Twist, bring your right arm up. Twist from the spine, from the core, not from the hips. Make sure your hips are level. And exhale back to center. And then lift your left arm up on an inhale. Twist from your core. Keep those hips level. And exhale back to center. One more breath here. Coming through a flat back, rise back up into star. Feet pointed out. And come back to warrior two. Check that right knee's over the right ankle. And then on an inhale, straighten the right leg. Hinge the hips forward. And tilt your arms to come into 12 and 6. And take triangle pose. So you can put your hand on your thigh, on your shin. You can use a block, or if you can reach the floor, go ahead. The floor isn't the objective. In fact, I have much more alignment if I lift up a little bit, use my core, and don't reach the floor. That's the best way for me to get nice flat alignment, my back body, all in one plane as though I could just lean against a wall and it would all be flat. Feel that stretch from the back, left toes rooting down into the ground, the left heel, stretching all the way up to your armpit. Take an exhale here. And inhale, reach from the left fingertips, use your core, and rise up. And come into warrior two. Exhale here. And inhale, come back to Tadasana at the front of your mat. In Tadasana, lift your left foot, put all your weight into your right leg. Turn your knee out to the side. You can leave your left toes balanced on the ground like a kickstand, or you can lift your left foot and rest it on the shin, or you can lift it all the way up to the top of your right thigh, coming into tree pose. Keep that right leg really active, grounding into the ground, rooting into the earth. The right quad is activated, it's working, it's pressing back against the left foot. The left foot is pressing that left knee open. The hips are level. We'll just take 3 breaths here. You can have hands at the heart. You can have hands overhead. If you want to test your balance, you can try letting your tree sway. One more breath here. Lift that left foot up, cross it over your right ankle, over your right knee. Make sure that the toes and the ankle are flexed so they're protecting your knee joint. And then sink your hips low and come down into flying pigeon. Feel the stretch in your glute muscles, in your hip. Keep your heart lifted, your spine really long. Take one big breath here. Breathing into the back of that left hip. And exhale. Sink a little lower. Come to the comfortable edge of your stretch. And on an inhale, rise back up, coming into Tadasana. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale back up into Tadasana. And then take the right leg back, coming into a high lunge, crescent lunge on the other side. Try to find a 90-degree angle in that front leg if that's available to you. Both hips directly facing forward, rooting into the earth. Arms, biceps right by the ears. Shoulders just pouring down the back. And take one inhale here. And exhale, open up into warrior two. That back foot should be pointing to the top right corner of your mat at a 45-degree angle. The left knee should stack right over the left ankle. If you need to widen your stance here to get comfortable, that's totally fine. Just feel nice and long. Gaze over the left fingers. Feel that line of energy running from the tip of the left fingers all the way to the tips of the right fingers. On an inhale, rise up, 5-pointed star. And sink down into prayer squat on the exhale. On an inhale, bring your hands to your knees. On an exhale, dip your left hip, look to the right. Inhale back to center. Dip your right shoulder, look to the left. Inhale back to center. 5-pointed star. Coming back into warrior two on the exhale. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Hinge at the hips. And come down into triangle pose, Uttanasana. Feel as though you could just lean back, all in one plane against the wall. Make sure your core is working. You're not collapsing into it. Shoulders stay on the back. Head stays in line with the spine. Looking up towards the sky, out to the front or down to the floor for balance. Exhale here. And on an inhale, use the tips of your right hand and the core to float you up and back into warrior two. Step into Tadasana at the front of your mat. Rise up. Cactus the arms. Bring them together at center. And exhale down to your side. And now we'll take tree and flying pigeon on the other side. So bring the weight into your left foot. Lift that right heel up off the ground. You can bring it to have the toes resting on the ground like a kickstand. You can rest it on your calf. Or you can bring it all the way up to the top of your left thigh. Just don't put any weight on your knee. You don't want any sideways pressure like that on your knee. Feel that left foot rooting into the ground, bringing energy from the ground all the way up through the crown of your head. That left quad engaged, pressing back against the right foot pressing the right knee open, making sure the hips are level. You can keep your hands at heart center. You can bring them up. You can try swaying if you want to test your balance. One more breath here. Feel all those millions of micro adjustments that your foot's making on the ground to keep you standing tall. Cross your right foot over your left knee. Make sure everything is flexed to keep it in line with your knee. And sink down into flying pigeon on the left side. Just come down to the comfortable edge of your stretch. Feel the gluteus, the piriformis, all those deep hip muscles getting a nice stretch. Keep your spine long. Arms are active. Again, feel all those tiny micro adjustments your foot's making. One more breath here. Getting nice and warm in the legs. And on an inhale, come up. Tadasana, inhale your arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale up to Tadasana. And exhale, come down into chair. On an inhale, rise up. On an exhale, widen your stance and come down into a wide-legged squat, Malasana. You can wiggle around a little bit, feel where that needs to be today to make you comfortable. Heels and toes should be on the ground, knees opening wide. You can use your elbows to help press those knees open, palms of the hands together. Spine really long. You can put some blocks or a pillow, a bolster or a blanket under your seat if you need some support in this. We'll just take one breath here. On an inhale, shift onto your right leg, come into a low lunge. Exhale here. Inhale, bring your left wrist, your right ankle to your left wrist. Set that leg down, coming into pigeon. So you can put a block under your right hip if you need some support there. Make sure your hips are squared to the front. You can put your hands down by your side. Inhale, lift up, lift your heart forward. And exhale, coming into sleeping pigeon. Breathe into that right hip. Wherever you feel sensation, see if on an exhale you can create a little bit more space there. Softening into the hip. And we'll take 3 long, even breaths here. Just soften every time you come out on an exhale. And every inhale, breathe a little bit more space into the areas that are feeling sensation. One more breath here. And on an inhale, press up. Walk your hands back. Bring your foot a little closer to your left hip. Bend your left leg. See if you can reach around and maybe grab the shin. Maybe see if you can reach and grab the foot from the inside. And start to slowly pull that foot towards you to find a nice hamstring stretch. If you'd like to, and you have the flexibility today, you can go ahead and twist your arm around and start to press down on that foot, the top of the left hand. If you'd like to come into mermaid today, this is an option. Set that foot into the crook of your left elbow. And inhale, reach your right arm up. And you can put your right hand on your back. You can reach for a strap, or you can try to take the bind, coming into mermaid pose. And breathe here or wherever you are, where you're finding a stretch. Never sacrifice the extension in your spine to reach your hands or feet into any particular position. Always want to take care of our spine. And on an exhale, let go of the bind if you have it. Let that foot go. And come around facing the back of your mat. Come into a seated staff pose. Wiggle out so you can find your sit bones. On an inhale, lift up. On an exhale, hinge at the hips. Reach for your thighs, your knees, your calves, your feet if that's available to you. You can put a strap around your feet and hold it there if that's a comfortable way for you to find a good stretch in your hamstrings. One breath here. Inhale. And on an exhale, just round forward. Let everything go. Inhale here. And exhale, slowly roll up. Bring your hands behind your hips, right under your shoulders, fingers facing your toes. Bring your toes pointed and forward. On an inhale, press into your hands, lift your hips up. Make me just scoot that forward a little bit and come into an upward plank. Your toes reaching for the ground, the tops of them pointed, but the toes nice and long. Shoulders right over wrists. Feel that core working. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float the hips back down. I'm a little shaky today. Swing your left foot around, bringing your left knee to the left corner of the mat, left ankle to your right wrist. And we'll take pigeon on the other side. So you can again put a block under your hip, under your left hip, if you'd like some support there or a blanket. Just make sure that your hips are nice and square. And on an inhale, lift up, lift the heart forward. Little back bend just in the thoracic spine. And exhale, sleeping pigeon. Stretch your arms long. Rest your head on the floor. See how it feels on this side, if it feels any different from the other side. Most of us have differences on the other sides of our bodies. Just see what this side feels like on this side, on this day, at this time. We'll take 3 deep, long, even breaths here. Inhaling space into the parts of your hips that are feeling sensation, and exhaling softness into those areas. Last breath here. Inhale, find a little bit more space. And exhale, soften. And an inhale, walk your hands back. You can bring that heel a little bit closer to your right hip. Bend the right leg if that feels comfortable. Reach your right arm around and grab that right foot from the inside of the calf, the ankle of the foot, and start to draw that foot in towards your armpit. If it's available to you, you can spin the hand around so the fingers are facing forward. Press that foot down. If you'd like to take mermaid, you can bring it into the crook of your right elbow. On an inhale, reach your left arm up, bring it down to the top of your back to a strap, or you can hook the fingers and take a bind. Keeping your spine long, breathing in here and letting it go. And on your next exhale, let it go. And give yourself a little squeeze on your legs. We'll take a couple twists here before we finish our class. So bring your right leg to the ground, knee in front of you, and your left leg crossed over your right knee, your foot flat to the floor. Make sure you're sitting on both sit bones. Inhale your spine really long. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand can come to the left knee. Inhale back to center and twist to the left. Use that left hand just not to hold any weight, but to keep your spine really tall of your sit bones. If you'd like to hook the right elbow on the left knee, you can do that to deepen the twist. Take a deep belly breath here. Inhale, let your belly come out like a big balloon. And exhale all the way down, contracting your stomach muscles, giving your organs a little squeeze, a little hug, wringing them out a little bit. And inhale back to center. We'll recross the legs, left leg on the bottom, right leg coming across the top. Make sure you're getting both sitting bones down on the ground. And we'll inhale and twist to the left. Using that left hand just to keep your spine really long. And inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the right. You can hook the left elbow over the right knee. Twist from the base of your spine. Feel that spiraling staircase, twisting all the way up, continuing even through the neck as you look back behind you. Take a deep belly breath here. Letting your belly expand like a balloon. And exhaling all the way down to the bottom, wringing out your organs a little bit. Giving them a squeeze. And inhale, come back to center. We're going to take supported fish as we wind down our class. So take a couple of blocks or a pillow or a bolster or just a rolled up blanket and put it lengthwise along your spine. You want the top of or the bottom of the blanket or the block with bolster to reach the bottom of your shoulder blades, right at your scapula. And then you might want something for your head to support your neck. So you can do this at any level. So low level or maybe the medium level. I don't think I would attempt something more than that, at least for now, for our creaky bodies today. And then carefully lie back. Make sure that your head is supported. Let your legs be long, let them fall open. Let your hands come to the side, palms facing up. Just take a few deep breaths here, feeling your shoulders drape down towards the ground, your heart lifting up. We spend so much of our time hunched over our computers, hunched over our cell phones. So it's important to balance that out by opening up the shoulders, opening up the heart, making those collarbones nice and wide and open. Take 3 more deep breaths here. Last breath. And exhale. When you're ready, make sure you're supporting your head to lift up out of fish. You can move your blocks to the side, and we'll come down onto our backs. Give your legs a squeeze, give yourself a little hug, and then cross your right leg, your right ankle over your left knee, coming into to reclined pigeon. So we've done all the pigeons today. We've done flying pigeon, sleeping pigeon, and reclined pigeon. Almost all of the pigeons. Flex your right toes back in your ankle just to make sure it's in line with your knee. You're keeping that joint healthy. And then pull your left leg in using your thigh, your knee, your shin, whatever is comfortable and accessible for you today. You can play with where you place that right foot, so you can bring it closer to your hips, feel where that stretches. Farther from your hips, feel where that stretches. Just breathe in a nice stretch in those deep hip muscles. And exhale. And switch sides. Bend your right leg, cross your left ankle over the right knee. You can reach around to the back of the right thigh. You can reach to the right knee. You can reach to the right shin. You can play with where you put that left foot. Do you want it closer to the hip or do you want it farther? Just make sure it's flexed so it's nicely in line with that knee and you're not twisting your knee joint at all. Squeeze it in, breathe into your deep hip muscles there. Notice if this side is any different from the other side. No judgments, just noticing what might feel different. Inhale and exhale, letting it go. One last squeeze of the knees. Open your knees to the side. Take a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. That's your first and second fingers. Bring your knees out to the side, your heels up towards the ceiling. Happy baby. And just find some gentle rocking from side to side. Just see what feels good. Any other movements that you would like to take before we come into Shavasana today? When you're ready, let your legs go long on the mat. Feel it, feet fall open. You can let your hair out if it's up. Palms face up. Shoulder blades on the back. Let's take a cleansing breath here together. Inhaling from the bottom of your belly, mid-belly, low ribs, all the way up to your clavicle. Hold it at the top, maybe take one little sip extra of air, and let it go through your mouth. Now, let your awareness of your breath go. Let everything go. Notice if there's any places in your body where you're holding a little bit of tension. Your ankles, your hips, your neck. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyes. We'll take a couple minutes here to just let our body incorporate all of the movements we've done today. Let it absorb all of those different stretches and twists. And this is really the key of Shavasana, is to just soak up all the things you've done today, all the ways you've moved your body, all the benefits that you've given it, and let it incorporate that. And know that in these few minutes while you lie here, you're safe, you're loved, and the world is a better place, a richer place for your presence in it. Breathe and feel your body, and if you have any thoughts, just notice them. Don't judge yourself for having any thoughts, just notice they're there and come back to the present moment. Start to reawaken the fingers and the toes, moving them gently, rolling the wrists and the ankles. Inhale into one big, long, full body stretch. And then roll to one side. Take a moment here. Take this time to acknowledge yourself and thank yourself for making the time to come to the mat today, for leaving your worries and concerns off to one side, knowing they'd be there for you when you returned, and just allowing yourself permission to set them aside for a brief period to focus on you and your well-being. Appreciate your body for all the ways that it let you move today, for all the things it does for us without us even asking. All those tiny micro movements of the foot just to keep us standing up. And appreciate your body for the way that it is, exactly the way it is today, for all the things that it does for us. And when you're ready, press up, and we'll come into a comfortable seat. You can, again, sit on a block if you'd like. Try to take the other cross of the legs than you had at the start of class. It's usually the one that feels a little bit awkward. We'll take a cleansing breath together to close our practice. Close your eyes, let all the air out of your belly. Inhale into the very deepest parts, up to your middle belly, into your ribs, your upper chest, all the way to the top of your clavicle. Maybe one more sip of air here. And exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much for coming to practice with me today and for taking the time for yourself to come to the mat. I hope that you're feeling a little bit less creaky now, and that you know whenever you are feeling creaky again, you can come back and repeat this class or repeat some of the stretches and movement we've done here to bring a little bit of space into those creaky spots. I hope as you go forward, you can continue to offer yourself patience, forgive yourself for the judgments that you make, and offer yourself self-compassion for yourself and all those around you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.